Afrofish OG.
You like that? You like that?
Dude, I was with that, bro. That's good, man.
Fuck it. What
That's
is up, everyone? It is Taylor and Black Scorpio again on Afro and the Scorp. The segment, the actual true podcast. Like I have the In the Know with Afro, which is more like just me and another person. But we actually finally have both of us here, along with our featured guest today, Mr. Andrew Dominate. What is good?
Yes,
what is
sir.
good? So
Good, man. How are you?
Dude, I'm fucking great. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, a little tired, but fucking great. But no, it's gonna be a good one. It's Sunday. I'm a little tired. Football. I mean, my team plays tonight, so
both my teams already played.
Team?
Texans. We play the Bears tonight. So I'm
hell yeah.
I'm expecting a win. Because I mean the Bears defense is good, but I'm
Now I'm a little bit illiterate when it comes to football. Is that college team or is that
NFL?
Okay.
Yeah, it's NFL. So it's
both my teams won. So Seattle and Green Bay, they both won. Seattle just got lucky off of OT.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see it later on in the highlights because I'll end up forgetting about it. But I'm actually really set up. I'm actually kind of stuttering because that's what I usually do. But let's get this going right now. Andrew, I want to hear a little about yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I want to hear about you. Like, you got the floor. Like, I want to know what you do. You know what I mean?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I run a channel. I'm assuming you're talking about my channel.
Yeah.
Channel.
Well, like your whole backstory.
But okay. Yeah, I just run a channel on YouTube. It's a mainly pop culture focused. It's commentary videos. I try to do gaming videos, but they don't really match the theme of my YouTube channel. But I mainly talk about comics, movies, TV shows.
Okay.
And I do games, but they're on live streams mainly. I remember I wanted to get into YouTube for the longest time. I mainly wanted to do gaming, and then I quickly realized gaming videos are extremely hard to edit because because it's just gameplay. You can't do anything. It's mostly gameplay, so you need to do clever edits in the video to get people engaged. Otherwise, it's just boring 20-minute gameplay of just nothing.
No, you're absolutely correct.
Right, and so it's much easier just to get on the camera and talk to them and do crazy shit. Versus, can I cuss on your podcast?
Yeah, you're
okay,
good.
Yeah, it was easier just to do just crazy stuff, like, and be more emotive. And that was easier to edit versus just a gaming video of Mario or something, you know?
No, absolutely. Like it's funny because doing those, like I just did a ranking video of like my favorite Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart weapons, right? And it's fun. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of a slog getting all of them. I noticed that you get a lot more in shorts.
Yeah,
like you get a lot more in just shorts and like simple ranking videos because people will just sit there and watch
especially videos that's easy to put on in the background. Like gaming videos, you need to be watching and engaged. But like what you said, like commentary videos, people will just put it on and like do homework or clean their house or whatever. Those are easy for people just to, because they're listening to you. They're not watching the screen for entertainment. But
no, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the one thing I'll definitely say I like. Like they're good that way. I mean, like I mean, like because I do a couple of reaction ones. I don't know if you've seen it or not. I do a couple of reaction ones myself. I'm doing one of like Mario Kart, like the every Mario Kart ranked ones. Which I wasn't gonna sit through. It's from Shay Frillis, who he's pretty big. He's got like over 1 million subscribers. But I did his Mario Kart 64 one, the Double Dash one, and then this one, which was like 2 hours and 45 minutes for the first video. And I'm like, yeah, I'm breaking this up into parts. Like my ADHD won't let me sit there and do this. But I'm interested because I know like the games that you do live stream. Is there any, like, do you have, like, a set specific genre or, like, kind of just whatever floats your boat?
Anything that I'm playing at the moment, I try to play games that are at least a little trendy. But then if I'm not enjoying it, then I'm not gonna play it. Like I stream Fortnite like a lot, but I'm not open to the game, so then I'll play whatever I want. Like recently, I've been playing Dead by Daylight. But it's whatever I'm into currently, and I think people would enjoy watching. So like Mario 64 and Sunshine, I streamed those recently. I wasn't actively playing those games, but I know those games like the back of my hand, and I could speedrun those games, which in return I think would be an interesting live stream. But like I probably wouldn't stream like Red Dead Redemption, even though I really like that game. It isn't. I don't know that game as well. Therefore, it would just be me acting like a dumbass basically on the game. I feel like it's more engaging, and I've noticed, especially with those, and especially because my channel is pretty small, people are more engaged when they know they have a chance to play with me, if that makes sense. So they're watching like, oh, me next, get me on your squad next. But yeah, it just depends on my mood. But I always do Fortnite streams like at least once a month.
What type of Fortnite gaming? Like, are you talking about like zero builds or builds?
I listen. Zero builds. Okay, builds are absolutely ridiculous. Okay, you can't change my mind on that one. Are you a builder? Are you a builder, Scorpio?
Fuck no! I am so against building that if they ever take out the zero builds, I uninstall it right away.
Yeah, how long have you been playing the game?
Since chapter 3, season 1.
Okay, yeah, I think
when it was first introduced.
When it was first introduced, yeah. So I remember a time when it wasn't there. So like I had to deal with the crazy builders building a tower in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, I refused to play. The moment that a buddy showed me that it was zero builds, like there was no building whatsoever, that was the very first moment that I jumped in.
Yeah, and it makes it. I like how they didn't completely remove builds though. They left it as an option. Sometimes I'll play builds just for the nostalgia, but it's definitely a better game with the zero builds. Like it was cool at first. It was a good spin, but like it gets really annoying when people with keyboard and mouse absolutely
it does
build on top of you.
Yeah, it does because it's not considered a shooter afterwards. Afterwards, it's just you're just an annoying pest. I want to kill you. Get out of here. You're gonna build a wall. Fine, I'm gonna leave.
Exactly.
Like don't expect me to come chase you like a dumbass. Like, you know what? Go get your other builders. Sure. You go do that and like let me be. But yeah, as Afro knows, like I do my shooters once a week, and Fortnite is up there with like a little bit of Valo and stuff like that. And you also mentioned Dead by Daylight. Yeah, I dabble in horror games as well.
Yeah, horror games are definitely like absolutely phenomenal, especially if you're into like the survival horror. It's just multiplayer survival horror with your friends.
Oh, okay.
It's good for the spooky season of October, just to get like your chat in, just to have some fun.
Yeah, like, I definitely want to stream it more this October, but it has a lot of crossovers as well.
After definitely like 20 over 30 chapters.
Yeah, and they just had a Castlevania crossover as well.
So you get to like play like, so is it kind of like where like you have one main person and then everyone else is trying to like escape you then, right?
Yeah. There's 5 players. It's an online game. 4 of them are survivors and 1 plays as a killer, and you get to choose from like all, and they're not skins either. Like Fortnite, it's like you buy a skin and you just play the same as everyone else. But with this, each killer gets their own abilities. Like the Xenomorph is in it, Ghostface is in it, Chucky's in it, and they play completely differently from one another.
Oh, that's cool.
And they're not expensive either. Like their DLC, they're not like Fortnite. I think is a scam when it comes to their skins, because it's like you have to pay like $20 to actually get a skin. But like in this, it's like $4.99 for like a character, and
that's not bad.
It has it's a unique character. Like that's not bad at all. Like that's really good.
No, it's not terrible. Like that's kind of So one of the things that kind of drew me away, because I was actually a really big Overwatch fan, and I actually just re-downloaded Overwatch on the PS5. So I might try doing that again, kind of like a fresh start. But the skins were one of the things that I like was always really excited about, and the way that they did like their loot box system, I just was never a fan of. Because like there's a part of me who's just like, let me just buy the skins that I want. You're already getting my confirm money, you know what I mean? Or they'll just give you the coins so you can buy them. But like some of them were Some are awful. But I wouldn't mind like if they're actually like full-fledged can play differently. I think that's awesome. Like you see that a lot in fighting games where we can get like full-on new characters, but I've never. Damn.
Well,
is it free? Is it free?
I was gonna say this October I definitely do the spooky games. I'm gonna be doing the Dark Pictures anthology again just to go for the platinums, the last 2 installments. I do throw on some Dead by Daylight just for fun as well. So if you are Afro, if you're ever wanting to jump in, just jump in. Honestly, a lot of the times now I feel that because people they're not as sweaty, they're not like when you get into a good game when the killers are just joking around with you, they're playing with you, like they know you're gonna escape. Like you have the little teabagging and then they slice you at the end and then they throw you to the exit and it's like crawl your way out, bitch. Because because people
especially
know
when you're playing with friends.
Or even randoms, like just everybody has a good time. But it's like you get that like fear factor and everything. It's fun
for sure. And Afro, it's if you have Game Pass, it's free, but I think it's like $50-$40 on PlayStation Store, and then same price on the Xbox Store. I'm sure you could find a physical copy used for like way less than that. But
I think it's free as well on PlayStation. I know I had it. I got it free at one point.
If you have the PlayStation subscription, I think. It's
okay. So I have PlayStation Plus, so I should be able to do that. No problem.
I think I got it when it was free, the free game of the month. That's when I think I picked it up because I have Dead by Daylight.
No,
it's cross-platform.
Oh, it is cross-platform.
Yeah.
So you can.
I'm just saying.
I played on my Xbox.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like, I might actually have to play. This sounds like one of those games I'll play at like 1 or 2 in the morning, like on purpose.
When it's dark, make sure it's dark.
Oh my God,
make sure the lights are turned off.
Well, like I played okay, this was years ago. This is when this is 360 era, but I played Dead Space 2. And I was playing Dead Space 2 like I was already like half wasted. And so playing Dead Space 2 still drunk and like trying as soon as I would hear the screaming and I'm like sitting there like this is fine. I can do this. I can do that. One busted through the rafters and I was like, yeah, no, I turned it right off.
Yeah, man, screw that. I like to get scared. I think it's like I'm addicted to it. But I want a game to scare me, especially horror games. I like that feeling that it gives me. It's hard to explain. Like it's the adrenaline that I'm like addicted to. Where I'm just sitting in my chair and I'm like screaming. I'm like,
it's the intensity to me. It's like you know that something's coming up. You know something's gonna happen. You like in the back of your head, you're like, fuck. Like I just got it. This is fine. This is fine. I can manage. And then you hear something else. This is what happened in Resident Evil 7. Right. I still haven't beaten it, but like it was after. I don't know if you played Resident Evil 7, but like after you get your arm back in the very beginning of the game, right, and you're trying to escape the father. I think during my whole stream, I kept calling him Daddy the whole time. I was like, Daddy's pissed at me. Daddy's mine. And I was like, I just tried to steal the car. So
you're your daddy's little bitch.
Yeah, and I was just like escape, and I go, you go into like the little like basement area, right? And there's like the weird like tar monsters, and I'm like, I'm like, what the fuck is that? Right, so I put like 2 bullets in, realize I don't do anything, and I'm like, tar monster. But I'm just like, so I start doing the old run around the table shtick, until eventually I'm like, I could just escape them. I was like, this is sad to me because I'm like, no matter how much horror this is, straight up, the only reason I know this is from my years of gaming. But that game scared me pretty good. Like, I don't know. There's certain things. I don't know. I'm weird. Like, I feel like I get scared by shit that shouldn't actually be scary. Like,
like what? Because
okay, so like
those tar monsters are pretty disturbing.
The tar monsters were pretty disturbing. I will say that. But like, okay, so like I played like Metroid Prime 1, right? Love Metroid Prime, fantastic series. These stone toads, they don't do anything, right? Unless you're in the morph ball, then they'll try to eat you in the morph ball. But I don't know that. So I turn and I just see this big stone thing taller than me, just staring. You're just breathing. And I'm like, do I move? Like, I guess I'll just keep going around it. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And so like that freaked me out. Or like Elden Ring, the finger creepers in Elden Ring, right? The big old hand monsters. I don't do well with disembodied hand creatures for some reason. I just don't. I think it's like an uncanny thing, or I don't know what it is. But like I froze. I walked into Karya's Manor, this big fortress, right? And there's two like giant hand monsters like hanging on the walls, and I'm just like standing. I'm staring at it. My body's just not reacting. Like it's not moving at all. Like I am like in like full on frozen. Yeah. If I get into any kind of bad situation, I learn that I do the third thing, right? I don't flee. I don't fight. I freeze. And so like
right. And again, that's not good, especially.
Yeah, I'm just like
when they're coming at you.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm great if it's like a T-Rex or something. Like as long as I don't move, they can't see me. Right. But that was.
Have you played Resident Evil 4?
No, I have not.
Okay, well, fuck. Never mind that. I was gonna ask what your reaction was to the regenerators, but have you played any of the Resident Evil games? Oh, you just said 7. Obviously,
it was like 7 and like 30 minutes of 8. Like I'm going to because I'm like, I'm gonna go play these because they're up on I think they're on Game Pass. I know they're definitely on PlayStation Plus. I'm like, I'm gonna play them, and then I'm like, ooh, Hi-Fi Rush, and I go play that instead. Like,
dude, I feel that, man, because I have like a back catalog of games that I need to get to, and I'll start one, and I'll be like, and then I'll just go to a comfort game and never pick it up again. I was enjoying it. Like I think it was trying to think of the last game I did that with. I did it with what was the game? I'm looking at it, trying to find it. It was Anarchy Reigns. I did that recently.
Anarchy Reigns. That sounds familiar.
It was on the PS3. It was like a beat 'em up game. Bayonetta was a DLC for the game, like later down the line. But it was really fun, and I played it for like 3 hours. And then I played Fortnite, and I haven't picked it up for like a month. But I want to go back to it. Like, I don't know why I just stopped playing it. Like, I was addicted to it. I was like, this is a badass game. And I just left it to play a children's out.
No, that's fair, because I've done that too, though. Like, that's actually what's really funny is I was playing Persona 3, right? Persona 3 Reload.
Right.
And I was like super into it because I played Persona 5, and I was like hooked into Persona 5. I was hooked into Persona 3, went back to go play Elden Ring, have just went back to go play Persona 3. And I was like, "Oh shit! I forgot where I was." Like, you have to restart. You have to. I have to restart because I'll restart. Okay, fair enough. I was like, no, I'm like 90 some hours into that. I restarting shit.
Oh, okay, never mind. I don't do that.
I'll just Wikipedia or like Spark Notes it like. So you got playing games tonight?
You play game? Probably. I was thinking about live streaming after this, but yes, most likely. Maybe a Dead by Daylight stream. I don't know.
That'd be cool. Well, I know like you were playing, like I said, with Super Mario, right? Super Mario 64. And going back to play that, like, 'cause I'm sure you played that as a kid, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what do you like? I want to know, like, from your perspective, what do you think about it? Like going from like playing as a kid and coming back to playing it as like an adult. Like, do you get the same feel? Do you get the different feel?
Yeah, I do, but it will never. Okay, I don't know if anybody else feels this way when they go back to play games, but I have nostalgic with it, and I remember I get memories like in the back of my head, like as a child. Mm-hmm. But I almost have this sad part of myself while playing it. Like, I wish I could go back to a 5-year-old listening to Green Day, playing Super Mario 64 in my first living room that I even remember as a child in the old house that I used to live at. Like, it almost makes me sad a little bit that I can't go back to that, just to a simpler time, if that makes sense.
Oh my god, I feel that.
Yeah, that's how I feel sometimes, and I have a weird relationship with the game, because of that, where it's like it reminds me of a simpler time, but it also makes me sad. Like,
for real though. Like, okay, so like that's how I felt. A lot of times, there's a lot of games that I start getting that with. Like Legend of Zelda was one I got that, especially Ocarina of Time I did.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was like with Super Mario, especially. For me, it's like when you go to Bob-omb Battlefield, right, and you hear that music play, and you drop right in, and I'm like, oh, this is so cool. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like in my back of my head, I'm like, this is awesome. I miss it. Like,
and it's almost people don't realize how like groundbreaking that fucking game was when it came out, and I don't hear anybody really talking about it anymore, which is sucks because I mean, there's a community for it. There's obviously a huge community for it, but like there's like these new gamers where it's like it's hard to explain how, because if you've never played Mario 64 before and you play it today, I can understand how it's like somebody would go, yeah, it's a fine game, but like it really is a perfect fucking video game when you really, especially when you go back to the time and how groundbreaking it was. It's yeah, man. It was like it's the first open world game. It was the first real 3D game. It was the first 3D Mario game. You know, like it was the first a lot of things. Like it was groundbreaking. Games to this day are literally on like are jumping off of the back of the success of Mario 64. It's fucking gaming, bro. And it's like it's like a hero in the fucking gaming universe or the gaming realm, man. Like it saved the gaming industry. If Mario 64 wasn't a success, the gaming industry would not look like how it is today. But yeah, man, what were we talking about? What
you're absolutely correct though. Like that's the thing. Like you were absolutely correct, because if you look at that, like Mario 64, Mario Kart, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, like those ones laid the groundwork for all these games that came after it. And you're right, like, especially when you talk to younger gamers, there's a sense that, I mean, obviously they weren't around during that time period, so it's like y'all don't understand how impactful like these games actually were, you know. And like you might look at like Ocarina of Time, you're like, oh, that's not that big, but at that time, the storytelling, the fact that it was an open world, a day and night cycle. I mean, a lot of stuff that y'all take for granted now, this was legendary back then. And so like when I look at, you know, like Super Mario 64 and the way that Mario moved, he jumped, the way that like the fact that you could break the fucking game speed running, that's always actually fun. I love watching speedrunners like breaking Mario 64.
Yeah, me too. It's interesting. I want to learn those glitches too, or I've thought about it, but I feel like it would just ruin the game for me, if that makes sense. I kind of talked about this in my live stream, but I like playing Mario 64 the way it's intended, but I also try to get through it like really fast while speedrunning. But I feel like once I learn those glitches, I will never play the same game the same again, and I feel like it would ruin it for me. That's like I can get through this entire level just by breaking the damn game, and I don't want to do that. I want to play it normally, but I want to play it normally fast, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. And like because I know there's what 120 stars into 64, which is already, when you think about it, that's a fucking lot. Yeah, I mean, it would also, when you think about it, it's kind of funny because they're only like 2-3 minutes each one. But it does. You know, you go back to level. My only gripe at that time, even as a kid, was like I have to jump out, then jump back in, and you know, go running through like the sledding with the penguin. All of Bowser's was always fun.
Yeah.
I thought Bowser's was great. I thought what was the other ones? I thought, like, for me, Jolly Rogers Bay and all of them, they're not the greatest. Any of the swimming ones are not the greatest. Because I saw you were playing in Wet Dry World, and I was like, bro, I hated this level.
It's the worst level. Wet Dry World is the worst level.
Like, I know what they're trying to do, but I'm like, fuck, I hate this shit. Like, and like, I mean, granted, there's still some flaws. Obviously, it's a N64 game, but it's like it's such a nostalgic powerhouse that like very few games can say, I owe my success to these. You know, the RPG aspect, the fantasy aspect of Ocarina of Time. Oh, they like a lot of your games that you play owe their success to how these were done. You know, the storytelling for Ocarina of Time is amazing.
Yeah,
like it's so good. As much as I like Twilight Princess is my favorite one, but Ocarina of Time is the iconic legend one, and it's like I happy when they chance to remaster these for younger generations to play. And I'm like, you know, when I have kids one day, I'm gonna be like, no, you play in this game, and you ain't gonna go play Fortnite. You get your ass over here and you go play a bunch of single player again. And then when we're done, we'll move to the PS1, then we'll move to the PS2. History lessons, motherfucker. Like
you gotta earn your way up to Fortnite.
Yeah, you ain't like I'm keeping my kid awake because I like also like it's just also for the fact that like I don't want my kids ever like thinking, oh, this is just they're just relics or whatever. No, there's a reason for why people hold them in high regard. It's also what I shit on new Madden so much. But like I do. It's bad. But oh man. I had to ask though, did you find like your like favorite levels?
Yeah, I remember. So Tall Mountain is my favorite level. I think it's just because I might be a little bit biased because
Probably.
I was stuck. You don't like Tall Mountain?
I'm actually not a fan of Tall Mountain.
Oh no! So I think it was mainly because I was stuck on Mario 64 at a part of Mario 64 for like a really long time, and then my cousin who was living with us at the time had a friend named Josh. I remember him distinctly because he taught me how to beat the game, and he taught me how to get to the second floor of the castle, and that was the first level I went into. So I was like stuck, like mid game in the basement, not knowing how to really get any start. I was like 7. And this was like a couple years of just the same levels of me like restarting the game, thinking I did something wrong. And Tall Mountain was the first like new level to me that like I got to explore. And I was like, holy shit, there's more levels to this game. Like this game's massive. And I remember spending just hours on that level just having fun. And I remember having fun with the monkey. I love those monkeys.
The monkey. Oh my god, I used to get so pissed off about it. Like Tall, it's funny because like I'm not a fan of Tall Mountain, but a lot of it's because I just don't remember it. Like,
yeah,
in terms of like levels, it's not the most like the one that I remember off the top of my head the most. I did a reaction video to Super Mario 64. Like the guy was ranking all of them, and I'm sitting there and like my brain's like, yeah, this isn't in our database, Chief. Like, it's like I think we tossed that out. But like, it's like the only.
It's weird that you say that though, because Tall Mountain is like one of the most. They have some of the longest stars in the game because you have to like, I think like 3 out of the or 4 out of the 5 or 6 stars in the level. You have to scale the entire mountain to like to get those stars. I see a lot of people spending the most time on that level when I see people.
It's probably why they skip it during the speed runs. But like,
probably.
Well, like it's have you ever seen Carpetless?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, if you ever get a chance, look up Carpetless. So it's the ship one where you're in the sky and you have to ride the carpet. Right? You have to ride the carpet up or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, people have done it without the carpet. Like they just like they made their way through.
Okay,
yeah. And I saw that and I was like, yeah, I just suck at this game. Like I'm just trash.
Well, they're using the thing is with that, they're not even using glitches.
No,
well. It's just wall
they're
jumps,
just that good, and you're just like I'm like, yeah, I don't.
See, I'm okay with getting that good. I just don't want to learn like the crazy glitches because you can beat the final level with Bowser just using glitches.
Oh yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Well, and the thing that gets me is like when I watched it and I was like in the back of my head I'm like, yo, why is Bowser even taking Peach? If I watched a dude pull that off, I'm like, yo, you can have this. Like, oh no, I'm fucking out. Like, it's like what happened? I watched him literally triple jump on my fucking cousin.
You've beaten the game, I'm assuming. Have you gotten all 120?
I have not gotten all 120.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, I have a series on my channel. Like I get all 120, and I know that game like the back of my hand. Like I know where all of them are. But you have beat the game. I remember when I think I was like 7 or 8 when I finally got all 120 stars and I beat the game. But I remember being slightly like pissed off or surprised when Peach came out of the painting at the front of the castle. And I was like, she was there the whole time.
She's just like watching.
Yeah, she was just in that painting.
Like she's probably watching.
Damn it.
Wow, I didn't think he'd actually go do it.
Just chilling in there, like fuck.
No,
so, you're aware of Yoshi on top of the castle?
Yep.
Though,
yeah, Yoshi's on top of the castle. Good. Right. Oh, and that's why I think they brought because I think Sunshine, which I love Sunshine. I think Sunshine's really good.
Me too.
And
it's my favorite game of all time.
That's your favorite. Yeah, like I would say Sunshine is Oh, that's so hard. Okay, so because I put Sunshine on the list of like some of my favorite games, but like I think I have to put Galaxy above it just a little bit. And I think it's because that music from Galaxy is so good that
hold on. Keep talking. Hold on. Keep talking about the soundtrack.
It is true though. I know Scorp never got a chance to play these amazing games, even though you could go buy a Wii. But like,
I had a Wii back in the day. I had a Wii U and stuff like that. I played games.
It's the soundtrack. It's the soundtrack for Sunshine. Oh my god, or for Galaxy.
Galaxy.
For Galaxy. Oh my god.
It was the first Mario game to have a. He's like, is that the soundtrack? No, but that was the first Mario game with an actual orchestra, like an actual like band.
Really?
That played it, and Koji Kondo, the composer for all the Mario games and Legends of Zelda games, had a blast doing it. Like I remember seeing an interview, and he was like surprised that Nintendo, because usually it's just him in a studio with like two other people. And Nintendo was like, we want you to actually do like a full-on band orchestra, a soundtrack for this game. And he just had a blast doing it because he finally got to be a real composer. I'm not saying he's not, but like,
right,
he actually got to compose people. Like
they gave me the conductor's one, exactly. You know, and I could only imagine, because like, I mean, to me, when I hear Super Mario 64 and it opens that right there, because I think I like go like nostalgia wise, like hearing that opening theme just blows it open. You know what I mean? But I'm just like, I remember playing this when I was a kid. I mean, I guess I was 2007, so I was like 15, 16 during that time. But still, like, I still remember that. I still getting like this joyous feel of going and playing a Mario game. Like, there's no real.
And somehow they still do it. They still happen to just recreate that for new. Like, I don't know if you've played Odyssey.
Yes, I have.
That game is fucking phenomenal. Like, if somebody told me that's their favorite game of all time, like, I'd be like, fair enough. Like, it really is. They somehow, like, especially 3D Mario games, put out banger after banger after. They don't miss.
No, they don't.
Mainline Mario games.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, when I watched like going through the levels in Odyssey, and like some of the water ones were so cool. I'm like, oh my god, these are awesome. I blew through that game in one night, and like, it was New Donk City. When like you're in the celebration of New Donk City and you're going through like the 2D levels and it's like like the fireworks and everything, and I'm just like, I don't like. I feel like every ounce of like my inner child is like, this is what I wanted.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, this was so good, and that's why like I love with, like I said, what they did with the Legend of Zeldas is like Ocarina of Time gave me that sense when you get into Hyrule Castle and you hear that music kick in, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm about to go fuck shit up. Like I'm on my journey and I don't know where I'm going. Like, you know, and I think it'd be so cool. Like, actually, it was funny because Ocarina of Time was one that I was actually I would love to see get like like a remake of Ocarina of Time, and keep the story the same, because I think the story is fine.
They have one,
but just kind of redo some of the levels, because I feel like with the limited tech they did a fantastic job. But imagine, now with the tech that they could do for those levels, you know what I mean?
Well, do you count the 3DS remake as a remake?
More of a remaster.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it's just the same game with better graphics.
Yeah, like when I think of like, because like for me, for example, I don't know if you saw my video of what I do with the well.
I don't think so. No.
Okay, so the bottom of the well to me is one of the scariest things if you were a kid. Like when you're like, oh, I just got to go into, what the fuck is this place?
Check out.
Like, it is horrifying. So like what I said was that throughout the level, you should only, like, the only thing that you get to see besides other like smaller creatures, you know what I mean, like the little flying skulls and spiders and shit, are the dead hands, right? You don't get to fight him until you get the lens of truth.
Yeah.
But until that time, until that time, the hands come out of walls and out of the ground at certain intervals. So when you get grabbed by one, the dead hand comes up, but it's invisible.
Right.
And you can't actually hurt him. So then you have to break free, and it's just you just run. You know what I mean? So then you go through the so you can't kill him in the beginning. I think that'd be horrifying. As a creature, you can't beat until you get this item, and then you can go and fight him. Because I mean,
and then you have to have the balls to go back, though.
Right? Yeah, no, exactly. Well, that's the thing. Like you look at some of them, I guess you can. Like I know, like Bongo, you can beat without the master,
right.
or without the lens of truth, which it's a little bit harder. But if you know the map layout and stuff, it's actually pretty easy.
And I think the scariest thing about that boss though was he had blood on him.
The dead hand.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Like just the jaw. Jaws are like a weird thing for me. The way the jaw like drooped down, like
Oh yeah, no,
like
well,
eat you.
It's the same with like the wall masters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just like you walk into a room and Navi's like, "Hey, watch for those shadows of monsters that hang from the ceiling." I'm like, "The fucking what?"
Why are you so calm about this, Navi? Like, what are you doing?
I was like, "Oh hell nah." So like that would scare the fuck out of me. I'd be like, "Yeah, no, I'm out. Fuck that. I dip." Like, like I'm doing that whole thing and just pointing my sword like this because if it falls on me, it's getting straight up wrecked. Like.
For sure. But yeah, it's something about because like I remember the blood on that boss really weirded me out as a kid. It like scared me because it had like cartoon violence up until that moment. Where it's like if somebody gets stabbed, like there's no blood, it's just the sword goes through and like whatever. Mm-hmm. And then just seeing him with just blood stains on him, and he was like a pale, like skin, like character. I remember just being weirdly unsettled by that because it was like there's like no blood anywhere else in the game except for there.
No, and that's the thing. Like, and if you said it's like the fantasy violence. Like if you hit him, it's like a little green or something like that.
Yeah,
but yeah, there's just red blood. And that was the first. I think that's the first boss that you just go in and you're like, dude, what the fuck is that? Like, you're like out of all of them because like on Amorpha is easy as shit, but it's like okay, I get it. It's a big ass amoeba. Phantom Ganon, it's just Phantom Ganon. Volvagia, big ass dragon. You go into the well and you're like, yo, I don't know what this is. Like my brain cannot comprehend.
Yep.
What the fuck? And I'm like, I have to get grabbed by the hands so that it comes out of the ground. And I'm like, oh fuck no. Like that
The only thing that was scarier than that was when the first time you get the Master Sword and like you jump ahead in time and just the entire town is dead and they're like, I forget what the enemies are called.
The Redeads.
And you see them earlier in the game, but like you just see like 10 of them in the town. And they're all just coming towards you. It's like, is there zombies? Is everyone fucking zombies? I failed. No, but yeah, that part, like, I shit you not. I remember pausing the game and like crying, like I like because I was like 10 or like I was like 7 or 10 or whatever. And I was like, everyone's dead. They're all zombies, and I just cried like a little bitch. Like
I failed.
I failed as a human being.
No, and it's really sad too to see all the the people are gone. And then you go back in time and you're like, this is really jarring.
Especially when you see the kids playing like around the garden.
Mm-hmm.
You see like the I think it's the two little girls. They're like swinging around in a circle. And then you go get the Master Sword and you come back and in that spot there's 2 fucking undeads where they're
you're just like, oh.
That's them now, I think. Yeah.
Okay. No, it is. It's really haunting. Actually, the ones that scared me the most, or not the most, but like they scared me, and those were the Iron Knuckles in the Spirit Temple.
Yeah,
and not because they're not because like they're like scary. They did just beat the fuck out of you. And I'm just like, oh shit! Like he walks up and he's just like slow. I'm like, oh whoa! Like yo, dude, like. I mean, I got this sword, but you got like armor on, and you swinging a fucking axe. Like, bro, what the fuck is that problem? Like, but then, I think you find out that if I believe they're possessed Gerudos. Yeah, and so I'm just like, well, now I kind of feel bad. Like, I know, like you fucking swung at me, so I was gonna swing back. Like, that's how it goes, motherfucker. But like, no, I feel bad. Like, I will say that. Yeah, I'd say that. Actually, the Spirit Temple is probably my favorite temple, just because between the music. The going back and forth between the child and the adult, and Twin Rova's boss fight is definitely interesting. Like, But it's just Ocarina of Time, like you said too. But going back to like Mario, it's you can't. I don't really think I can sit here off the top of my head and say like this is a bad Mario game.
Which one?
Any of them.
64. I can name a couple because I'm a Mario fanboy. Like Mario's Missing and Hotel Mario are pretty fucking terrible.
Oh, I forgot about Hotel Mario.
And then Mario's Time Machine is bad because Mario's Missing and Mario's Time Machine were just educational games.
Mm-hmm.
But on like the box cover, they had like Super Mario World art, so they were just like, "Come on, kids! Look at there's a sequel to Super Mario World," and then it's just who signed the Declaration of Independence? You know, it was like, oh, all right. And then Hotel Mario was like, I think the very first Mario game that wasn't on a Nintendo console. It was one of those DVD. I forget what they're called. They were part of the. They made a deal with a DVD company or a DVD manufacturer company, and they licensed out Mario and Legends of Zelda, and they had.
Is that where we got the Zelda CD and stuff like that?
CDI, yeah, exactly. Super Mario CDI, Hotel Mario, yeah, exactly.
Oh, that was so bad.
It was, and that's why Nintendo has never licensed their games.
Dude, the fact that they want to do a fucking live action Legend of Zelda.
I think aren't we getting an animated movie? Didn't they announce one?
So there was actually one back in 2007. You can, if you look online, I think you can find the test film for it. But like, there was one that they kept talking about doing was live action, and I'm like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't want to see a live action Legend of Zelda. Either give me an animated one, or don't do it at all.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
for sure, I would like to see an animated Legend of Zelda show or series where each movie is just a different game and like a different actor playing Link, because like they, you know, each game is like takes place like thousands of years apart, right?
Yeah.
Or like each season do a different game, and so you can recast people just whatever willy nilly. An actor drops out, cool. We have a new Link next season.
They'll just keep using Tom Holland.
Yeah, exactly. But like sometimes you need an older Link, sometimes you need a younger Link, and actors age. You can just maybe you could reuse some of them every now and then, but
I think it'd be better as a TV show, though, to be honest, because it's so long. I think it'd be better off as a TV show, kind of like I think Metroid would be great as a movie. Yeah,
because it's simple.
It is. It's very simple.
You can Legends of Zelda. There's so many side quests and like so many important story. Like Ocarina of Time. Like it starts off with like the 3 stones, and then after that you have like 8 of them that you have to go grab. You can't do that in a 2.5-hour movie.
No, you can't.
Can do that in like a 20-episode season though, and you could do all the side stuff and like character development. Metroid though, as a movie, as a thriller, like fuck yeah, dude, just put her on a ship and fight Ridley at the end. Like you don't. There's not really any side quests on it.
Who would you have play Samus?
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Anya Taylor-Joy. Oh no! I like Anya Taylor.
I don't know.
I like Anya Taylor-Joy. I couldn't see her as like she's too. It's gonna sound really mean. She's almost too thin to play Samus. Like when I think of someone who's like Samus, I feel like someone who is like. I mean, Samus is kind of not like she's not built, but she's definitely this very athletic kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You kind of have to be. I mean, she's tall. I think she's like 6'3" in the fucking canonically. So like, yeah, I don't know if that's with or without the rocket boots.
Either way, she's still tall.
Yeah, I would say.
Who? This might just be me. A little bit biased because I've seen her as Black Widow and like she's very acrobatic, but
Chris
I wouldn't
Pratt.
mind. Yes. No. Don't even get me started on Chris Pratt taking voice actors' jobs. But they're stealing our jobs. No. But they. I think give Scarlett Johansson's hair blonde. I think she could play a good Samus. I wouldn't mind seeing her as Samus.
I think Brie Larson.
That I think I could get behind more. I like Brie Larson. I just don't like her as.
I don't like her as Captain Marvel, but I think her as Samus would not be that bad.
I agree because she played Captain Marvel a little bit too serious, if that makes sense. And Samus is a very serious person. So just do what you did with Captain Marvel, and I think you should be a pretty good Samus.
Oh yeah. I think keep that I was gonna say keep that seriousness, because that's what Samus is. I mean, she doesn't talk much, but that's fine. Yeah. You can kind of use her as like a tragic figure, and her whole thing is trying to beat Ridley.
Yeah,
like it doesn't have to be.
Make it a Kill Bill type. Good. What's up, Speedy? How we doing, dude? Make it like a Kill Bill type movie where like she's just out for revenge.
Oh my god! Well, if she was younger, then I'd definitely use fucking Uma Thurman then.
Yeah, me too, man. I wouldn't. You could do a version where it's just an older Samus, though. Like they could do that if they want to do something different.
Well, Samus, I mean, yeah, like Samus is also like, it makes sense, I guess, kind of. I don't really know how old Samus is because her Chozo DNA kind of augments it. I don't really know how old she is.
I know they explained it in Metroid Other M. I think they did. I think she's like way older than she looks, but
yeah. So
like, yeah, it wouldn't make sense for her to like. She'd have to be like 120 to be like looking like her.
Yeah, I have no clue. So she'd be okay. So the end of Fusion. Someone read this. She'd be pushing 30 years old by Fusion.
Okay. But then what about like Blake Lively or something like that?
No, I can't. I can't see Blake Lively in that kind of action role, to be honest. Like, it's not like nothing against her. I just can't see it. Like yeah, I just can't.
If they do like a live action Metroid, let's be honest here. We want to see Samus with the armor on most of the movie, and if you cast somebody like a big name, they're going to have her out of the suit for like 90% of the movie, just because it's like the actress wants screen time with her face. So if they cast somebody who's not as well known, then you'll have the Samus in the suit like most of the movie, which again is what we all want to see.
Yeah.
So if they do cast a Samus, somebody has Samus, if they ever do it, I don't think they're going to cast a big name like Brie Larson or Scarlett Johansson or Anya Taylor-Joy. Which Anya Taylor-Joy wasn't a big name until like fucking 5 years ago. But
yeah,
like
between the Menu, Furiosa, she was in the Split. She was in that movie.
Didn't she play Peach in the Mario movie?
Yeah, she was Peach as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I think, honestly, when it comes to a Metroid movie, I think it would be Halo TV show versus Mandalorian situations.
What does that mean?
I think
I don't understand.
Okay, so I think it's also keeping. Okay, so like the Mandalorian, I think was, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Peach, but I think the Mandalorian was its own separate thing, separated from the rest of the universe. You know what I mean? It doesn't really. It has some parts where you're kind of going in to like the main series of Star Wars, but for the most part, it's pretty much its own self-contained thing, right?
I'd say the first season. Yeah,
I'd say the first season, which I'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with that for the first season. The Halo one kind of got me a little bit more, just because it was like. Huh?
Are you talking about unmaskings? Is that what he's comparing them to?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like the Halo TV show. Actually, yeah, because the Mandalorian, he pretty much has the helmet on almost the whole time, except for just a couple moments.
Which was a problem, I think, for a lot of people.
Which, if you 100% completed Metroid Prime, she would take her helmet off. And so at the end of it, which I'm totally fine with. But yeah, I think just stripping them completely almost the whole time, because I think the second season of Halo had Master Chief completely out of the armor for like multiple episodes, which I think was not a good decision.
Yeah, you can do Samus without the suit because she's still a badass. That's why she has the Zero suit. She's prepared to do stuff without the suit, and sometimes she prefers it, especially for stealth reasons. But like, if you're doing a Metroid movie, a first one, like, I'm assuming most people don't know who Samus is. You want to do her 90% of the time in the suit.
Yeah, honestly, I think it'd be smarter to have, if you're gonna do out of suit, then it should be with and just in flashbacks.
Flashbacks are like save it for like a like the finale of the movie. Like somehow she loses her armor and she needs to get it back, and
if you actually if you went the Smash Bros route where she uses like that Omega cannon or whatever, and then it causes the suit to break or something like that.
Yeah,
which then part season 2 would
exactly.
Yeah, season 2 would be getting it all back.
Yeah, you could do something like that for sure. I think it would work,
and it also would kind of tie into the whole Metroid thing as well. So, of you lose your stuff, you get your stuff back. Like,
yeah,
it would definitely be it'd be interesting. I definitely think it could be done. I just don't know if Nintendo has enough faith into it, because I think of all of them that are movie ready, I think that one, Donkey Kong, I know is one that we are getting a movie of, and I'm fine with that. As long as you got to put the actor from Donkey Kong Country, like he has to make a cameo appearance.
Yeah, I think I'm a little. I don't know how you guys feel about the Mario movie, but I didn't like it. It's weird as like a Mario fanboy that I didn't like it because it was made for me. I didn't like it, but I would rather them go in like a direction. I don't want a Donkey Kong spinoff because it's just. I want Nintendo to make other Nintendo movies that aren't just Mario fucking spinoffs, like the Universal, like Nintendo World at Universal Studios. They have like the Mario section, and they're planning on breaking off into other sections. And they announced their next like expansion to Nintendo World. And I'm like, Legend of Zelda, Smash, Metroid, whatever. And they're like, oh, it's Donkey Kong Land. And I'm like, the fuck, it's just the spin off of Mario. Give me a Hyrule World at Nintendo Land. But yeah, I don't want them to do a Donkey Kong spinoff. I'd rather just them push forward like another Nintendo property as a movie. Because we've seen Donkey Kong on film before. Just give me a link. I guess we're getting a Legend of Zelda movie already, but
well, they might go the route of the racing,
like Diddy Kong Racing,
Mario Kart,
because they showed them in the cars, right?
Yeah, and they built like the carts in like the Mario movie lore. So,
but they also did show. I mean, they showed what Diddy Kong. I think it was Trixie or. Dixie Kong, and Chunky, and I think they showed Lanky. So they're really pushing that Donkey Kong 64 getting a whole thing, which I'm actually not too mad at. As long as they keep the DK rap. I just don't want to hear Seth Rogen fucking rapping it.
Yeah, they'll probably just get Jack Black to rap it. You know who would do a good Donkey Kong rap? Get Will Smith to rap it, because it's he's more of that innocent, like, no cussing type of rap where he could make like more innocent like beats sound good. Like, imagine Will Smith doing the Donkey Kong rap. You can't tell me that
Will Smith needs to play like one of the Kongs.
Oh my god, yeah, I think he'd play. I don't know who he'd play though. Funky Kong. Wait, was Funky Kong? Was Funky Kong already in the movie? Was he?
Funky Kong, I thought was in the movie.
He was. He made a cameo, I do believe. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think
I briefly remember.
Oh man, I think Diddy Kong would definitely be. I don't know who Diddy Kong would be, because that needs to be an important one, especially with Donkey and Diddy. Like Diddy Kong is just great. I've always loved Diddy Kong. Yeah, I don't know who would I'd have to play them. Without it making it sound super offensive, but like,
I want to say something so bad right now. They just, I'm not gonna say it. I can't.
That's the thing. Yeah, just like I would just be like, oh, what was it? Nothing. Like, and then God, could you imagine they're gonna go like, I don't like saying it too much, but the super woke Donkey Kong. Like, just Wokey Kong.
Wokey Kong country, baby.
Country. Someone thought Donkey was offensive.
Well, I was thinking they could just do like wherever the Kongs are from, like as like a Wakanda type thing, where it's like, we're the advanced society that needed to go into hiding in the oppressive Mushroom Kingdom. is the reason why. Yeah, I don't know.
Massive Mushroom Kingdom. Well, that's the thing. It's like I think it have to be K. Rool then. King K. Rool has to be the villain. Like,
yeah, I don't see who else they do.
Yeah, actually, I don't
think he's like the villain of.
I mean, you could use that Rhino from like from Donkey Kong 64, but I don't think it's gonna make a full movie.
Yeah, and even he's still K. Rool's still the villain of that game too. So
there
was like a walrus guy in Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze who was the main villain. I don't think K. Rool's in that game. But.
Tropical Freeze is pretty good though. I'm excited. What did you think of the Sonic movies?
The Sonic movies? Okay, so here's the thing. I fell asleep during the first one.
That's fair.
In the theaters. I remember my friend, she was like super like into Sonic, and she was so hyped for the movie because they were talking about it for years, and she was like, I really want to go with it because I'm a Sonic fan.
Right.
And we went, and I was like, I fell asleep during like the Quicksilver type scene where he was like in the bar and the thing was in slow motion. I started to fall asleep to that, and I was like, I started to snore a little bit, and I remember she was pissed off, bro. Like she even hit me. She was like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Hey, my fault. The movie's bad." So to answer your question, I do not understand why people like these movies. Okay, I don't understand. I don't know how you feel about them. I've seen some of the second one. I just cannot get past the fact that they absolutely destroyed the Sonic lore of these movies, and Sonic's somebody's pet. Okay, he's somebody's pet in these movies. Okay, he's a pet.
He's a friend. Okay, he is a friend.
He shares the room with the dog, Afro. He shares the room with the fucking dog. Okay, what the fuck do you mean a friend? That's like, don't even get me started. How do you?
My dog's my friend. Like, I'm just saying. Like, I think overall, actually, I did. The first one is very like kind of basic. God forbid, because you only imagine if they kept that ugly version of Sonic. Like what it would look like. I'm
really curious as to what the original movie looked like. I hope we get to see that.
I'm really curious to see what like Tails and Knuckles would have.
That's why I've seen it. Like his Tails in the end credit scene of that original movie, and all they did with Sonic was they went back. Like the movie was the same. All they did was go back and fix Sonic. So like that means we had an ugly version of Tails.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. And that would. Oh God, that would have so bad. And that's the thing is like when they made it, and they're like, well, we want to try to ground this in reality. Please don't.
It's Sonic, for fuck's sake. What are you doing?
He's literally coming from a completely different world. Like just.
Yeah, and like it is only me.
Oh,
and Sonic called the lady.
Pretzel lady. See meetings.
I don't know. Maybe he wanted to turn her into a pretzel, but what do you mean something? I mean something.
I don't know. Pretzel. I don't. You know, it's got those. You got those innuendos that went above my head, but like, I think the second one was definitely better than the first. My only problem that comes in with these movies is like when the humans show up, and I'm like, you guys just drowned the movie out. Like you're here for a little bit. I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? I actually don't hate the main two people, right? And I didn't think the CGI was that bad. I actually love the voice of like Idris Elba playing Knuckles.
I like that too. I thought it was a good casting.
Jim Carrey playing Dr. There's no one else I would have play him. It's just Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey, doing Jim Carrey things, and I'm just.
If he was, so here's the thing. I agree with you, but if it was animated, I would have liked Jim Carrey better as Eggman or Robotnik. That's my main problem with these movies. They should have been animated.
Oh yeah, no, I don't disagree with you on that.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you at all. I think I'm just like satisfied with like what we got. I think the next with Tails, I thought that was cool that they brought the actual voice actors for Tails for the movie. I thought that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And like now, because I saw the trailer for the third one, you know, and I mean, if Keanu Reeves playing Shadow, I was like, I'm not even mad. Like I
it's a good casting.
It is like when you hear his voice when he's like, "You're a colorful bunch," and I'm like, "Wow, yeah." Now you actually mention it. Like,
I'm getting a boner for some reason. I think it's still frustrating though. You bring that up where it's like the castings are really good, and the characterizations of like Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and even Shadow looks like is really good. It's just the world and the fact that it's not animated and the stories aren't particularly interesting.
Yeah, the stories are going through the games themselves. That's just the most streamlined version of them.
Yeah.
Which I mean, like certain ones. So like Sonic and Knuckles' storyline, I've always liked it. I like the fact that Knuckles is he's just kind of misguided.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of just making him a pure moron.
Yeah, like
except for Sonic Boom, because that's actually pretty funny. That show's actually pretty funny.
The game is terrible, but the show is
the show. You watch the clips, and I'm like, yo, this is actually pretty.
They're making like sexist like jokes all the time, and I'm like, this is. I think like somebody like Knuckles, Amy says something, and like Knuckles says something along the lines of like, "You're a woman, your opinion doesn't matter," or something. I'm like, dude, this is a children's show. What's going on? But yeah, I like Knuckles being dumb, but I don't like him being like super dumb where like he doesn't.
I like he's more naive than anything, and it makes sense when he's been living on that island all by himself for how many years. So like, I'm fine with that. I also didn't mind that whole like connection with him and Sonic with Longclaw, like and like I actually didn't mind that. Like I thought it was actually kind of nice. So Sonic's not totally on his own. But with Robotnik or with Robotnik in this new one, because they actually have actual Robotnik, you know what I mean? Not just Eggman. But like Gerald, or is it Gerald Robotnik? I think he's the original.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Gerald Robotnik is in this one, which I thought was pretty cool. Also played by Jim Carrey, which I'm totally fine with. I think also too what makes it work is it's the mannerisms that Jim Carrey has, which kind of makes it work really well when he's using himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just wish they would have done the fat, because he has a fat suit in this one. And yeah, I wish they would have done that from the get-go.
Because I know that I didn't mind the skinny version of him. I loved his outfit. His outfit was actually pretty dope.
Yeah,
and actually held fairly true to what it reminded me more of Eggman, and I'm gonna say Eggman the negative version, because I'm not getting in trouble for that because someone mishears me from the Sonic Rush series a little bit, but I actually didn't mind that. So I was like, Shadow is gonna come in, and like I love the fact of how he just kind of wrecks them all right off the bat. Exactly
Shadow's
what I expect. Oh, Shadow is ridiculous. I mean, I think canon wise, Sonic is stronger than Shadow.
Yeah, but it's the like the initial power level of Shadow that like overwhelms him in the games initially.
Well, and I loved that they brought him in onto the street again, because that's kind of how he's always shown up. There's always been that level where you beat the one robot and then Shadow just kind of walks on top of it.
Yep.
And he teleported, which I was like, okay, cool, because he's using the chaos powers, except that Shadow a lot of times has a chaos emerald with him that he can manifest. So this one has to be stronger because now he's using these abilities without even having a chaos emerald.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, oh shit.
I hope we get more grounded Shadow, like in the Shadow the Hedgehog game, where he just has a fucking machine gun for some reason.
And then they brought in the motorcycle, which I've always it's like it's kind of like in Dragon Ball or something, when like they can fly, but then you got Goku and Piccolo driving a car. Why? There's no need. Like,
did he have the rocket shoes in the trailer? I can't
yes,
remember.
he does. He has this. Yeah, he's
okay. Good.
And not only does he skate though too, but he also like literally like shoots himself upward.
Nice.
Slams. Yeah. So when I love the whole skate thing. I'm not gonna lie. Like when I saw that as a kid, like playing Sonic Adventure 2 City Escape opening scene, one of the best scenes in all of gaming.
Yep.
And but like seeing Shadow with like he has the skates and he's going back and I'm like, okay, cool. Like he ain't messing around. I love that whole like skate thing. He's definitely basically the Vegeta of the show.
For sure. I wish they didn't take place in the human world, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish they would have. You don't need to do it animated, but you didn't need to do the whole like road
There,
trip.
there
Yes,
needs to
like
be
the
this
first
one needs to be so focused on like the regular characters because I believe that we're getting Shadow. I think we're getting Rouge the Bat. I think we're getting Amy. Like we're not getting Big because nobody cares about him. But like, no
Big's
Big
my boy. All right.
no Big the Cat. The Chows are making some sort of appearance, whether they're just like a Easter egg or something like that. It makes me maybe we'll get Omega whatever Omega from Sonic Heroes. Honestly, I think
Silver.
Silver, yeah, Silver will probably. I'm guessing they're going to keep going with this franchise, and like, Silver making an appearance would be cool. To me, bring in the Chaotix.
That would be pretty cool. I think they might wait for a future movie.
I would honestly bring him into a TV series featuring Knuckles and Tails this time.
No Sonic?
No Sonic. Like, because Sonic, you can deal with things with Sonic and Shadow. But I think dealing with something with Knuckles and Tails, let's say Knuckles, Tails, and like Amy, right? And they all of a sudden, these new ones show up and they're like, we've never seen these guys before. You can make it a small TV show with the Chaotix. I think they'd be a lot of fun.
Did you watch the Knuckles show?
I did not. I couldn't get past the dude who wants to go bowling. Like I was like, I don't mind. I don't mind stupid premises. I just can't stand like a premise that I'm like.
It was a low budget show. They couldn't do anything too crazy. I mean, I'm not a fan of these movies anyway. Again, I need to finish the second one, but like I watched like the first 20 minutes. I was like, I can't fucking do this. I'm sure it's fine though. No, actually, I don't think it's fine. Your opinion's wrong. These movies suck. Okay, I do not understand.
I'm noticing. I think I'm turning him a little bit. No.
No, listen, I'm glad Sonic fans are happy. I'm a Sonic fan. I'm not a hardcore Sonic fan. I think I am. I read the fucking the IDW comics. Okay, so I think I'm a bigger Sonic fan than most people.
Well, and I think the villain though is going to be Metal Sonic
of this movie.
Yep.
Like a surprise because Shadow's a good guy, so they have to do something. They can't do Eggman again.
No,
it's
robot. It's Gerald. Gerald Robotnik decided to use, or is it Dr. Ivo? Because that's the. I don't know. But it's his grandpa or whatever. Because in the Sonic Adventure 2 game, Eggman's grandpa, who was like the original Robotnik, basically was like, he was just crazy. He was like gonna blow the whole world up. So I think that it'll be one of those things where he's gonna look at his son and say what you ever seen The Boys?
Yeah, well I've read
he's gonna say, huh?
I've read The Boys.
Okay. He'll probably just be like, you're a disappointment, son. And he'd be like, I had to do this myself. And so he's like, Sonic meets Metal Sonic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that'll be like the ending.
The Metal Sonic's literally, I think, I said Shadow's OP, but Metal Sonic's actually fucking crazy. So
yeah, he
cool
is.
To see all four of them team up against Metal Sonic.
We're going to get Super Sonic, Super Shadow versus Metal.
Yeah.
Metal Madness,
that'd be cool.
Metal Sonic. Dude, that'd be dope. This also, after really seeing these too, it makes me realize I want a Mega Man movie.
Animated or like?
Oh yeah, animated. No, I don't want no live action.
Well, they made Sonic movies live action. So
Daniel Radcliffe is Mega Man.
No, he's short enough.
He's
short. He's like, I want him as Wolverine, but I guess that's another thing. But no, man, I just put a cap on this though. Listen, I'm glad I see the trailer for Sonic 3. I see everyone's hype, but like, it just looks bad. And I think what really cemented like why it looks bad to me is there's a part of the trailer is Knuckles goes in for a punch, right, like this, and then Shadow grabs his hand and just does this with it. But it makes a cracking noise in the trailer. But he just turns it like this. And he's like, ah! And I'm like, dude, he just turned your wrist normally. Why are you like screaming? It looks cringe. It looks bad. Sonic somebody's pet. Fucking Knuckles is played by Idris Elba. Okay, that's not that bad. But like, it's just in the human world. I'm not into it. All right, I'm glad you are. I'm glad you're into it, Afro. But I cannot get into this fucking garbage bullshit. All right, I'm sorry. It's. I know it's not for me, but still, I will stick to my fucking Sonic Adventures. Sonic 06. I'll
Well, you were about to say Sonic 06.
I regret that.
I was like, oh.
I regret it. But yeah, have you guys seen? There was a Sonic movie, animated one. Can you guys hear that siren in the background?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. There's, I forget what it's called. I have the VHS. It's like an hour long. It's like, it's I forget what the Sonic movie's called. It's like Sonic. I can't remember, but like it's like an hour long animated movie, and it was like a jump off for a Sonic movie, and it's really good. I don't remember what it's called, but like he fights Metal Sonic. Knuckles is in it. A really good characterization of Knuckles. Like he's not like, I don't know if I can say this. So I'm saying like he's not retarded like he is in the Sonic movies. He's still dumb, but like he's like it's more naive than anything. Like what you were saying.
Right.
What about Knuckles' show? I can't. Hold on. What does it say?
Any opinions? I really haven't seen. I've only seen like clippets of the Knuckles show, so I really can't say much.
I heard most of their budget went to Idris Elba.
I mean, are you really surprised though? Like it's they were expecting. I mean, Knuckles isn't even in like I think like one or two of the episodes, or he's barely in it. So
what?
Yeah, that's what I heard. Is that he's only barely in like he's in most of them, but there's only like one or two episodes I think that he's only in. Like he's not in very much.
Okay, that's weird.
Which is fine. I think Knuckles is one of those characters that's better off in smaller. It's kind of like it's like watching the Avengers in like some. Not every character, like I'm fine with them being in smaller doses.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Hulk is one of them. I actually don't mind being in smaller doses. I would say, yeah, I'd say Hulk. Because he was in smaller doses during the She-Hulk movie and actually, or TV show, and I actually probably would have preferred if he was actually in there more.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things they could have done differently in that. Just phenomenal She-Hulk series that was just really shattered my expectations in the worst way possible.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I see the sarcasm. Just waiting for the ball to drop.
It's out. You guys feel. It's not a good show.
It's not. Okay, so I will say, so my thing with the She-Hulk show is, surprisingly, and this might be like kind of I don't know if it's a controversial take or whatever, but I don't think that the show is dog shit, right? I do think there's points in there where I actually don't. Yeah, it was actually kind of surprising. It was one of those where there was some points in there where I was actually not super like mad at, but they're very few and far between.
The Daredevil episode's really good.
I love I didn't mind the episode with Blonsky and him being this like, oh, I'm just reformed now and all that. I actually thought, well, I will say though, I didn't hate it, but I did find it reminded me of basically like her version of Korg.
Okay.
But
well,
I do like that they gave him the actual Abomination look.
Yeah, I remember he first appeared like that in Shang-Chi, and I was like, fucking finally, but he was only a cameo. I'm glad we got to see a little bit more of it.
I like, and I think there's parts in there that, yeah, like I didn't hate it, but I don't think, one, the story of like She-Hulk just never felt anything cohesive. I think She-Hulk could be done really well if she was just more overly fun, but this character just did not come off as fun.
Yeah, I think the actress did an okay job, though. I think I think she did a really good job. They lean to. I think the biggest problem, and I want to get back to your Belongsy comment because I fucking completely disagree with you, but they leaned way too hard on the fourth wall breaking, and everyone. That's one of my main criticisms of the show is there's way too much fourth wall breaking. I see all these people online like, well, in the original comics, she's a fourth wall breaker. Barely, like she's Deadpool level fourth wall breaking in the show, but in the comics it's very subtle. It's not like I know I'm in a comic book. They're small comments like breaking the fourth wall, like, oh, you did this last week, like in the last issue or whatever. But she's not talking to the viewers like, well, you're probably wondering why I'm in this situation. Like, there's none of that, and the times that there is. They're like they're end comic gags, like where she's like tearing through the comic, like come back next month for like whatever. But if you go back, a lot of characters did that as like an end comic gag for like advertising. Superman did it, Batman did it, Spider-Man did it, like Iron Man did it, the Hulk did it. It was very common at that point in time for characters to break the fourth wall at the end of a comic like that. So she did it, and there's more of it, but it was really subtle. They leaned way too much into the narration, talking to the camera. And the last episode where she literally just goes into our world and just breaks into Marvel Studios and talks to Kevin Feige, like that was like, I'm checked out at that point. I don't know what they were thinking with that ending, bro.
It reminds me of like when Deadpool is like a fourth wall break inside of a fourth wall break.
Yeah, but
16 walls, but it's quick. Yeah. Like that's all it is, and that's the one thing too is with the show itself. My biggest problem is it feels like it was made for a purpose, trying to stick it to the trolls, right? Because that's what it felt like. It was like trying to stick it to people who like the weird incels. That's very much what it comes across, and it doesn't hold back with that. While I appreciate your honesty, it doesn't fit into what you're trying to pull. Yeah, and it doesn't make the show very fun. Oh, we lost one. He's probably busy doing something. It's fine. It doesn't make the show very exciting. And at least in my view, and I'm not even one of those trolls. Like I'm all for trolling, but I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Trolling is an art form.
It is, yeah.
Trolling is an art form. Hey, you're back.
Yes. Sorry about that. Just random glitch there.
Oh, yeah, you're good. But trolling is an art form, and if you're not good at it, it shows. And so, like with this one, I'm like, you guys tried to incorporate this super fun show about, especially the whole thing with like, oh, dating in your 30s, and I'm like, man, like for me, I think of like when She-Hulk or like She-Hulk is a character. Yeah, is she strong? Yeah, she's the one that she doesn't take shit, but they're so worried about this whole back and forth of, oh, who she, is she the She-Hulk versus Jen, right? If they look to She-Hulk, then they're not going to like Jen. But if I remember right, from what I remember from like the TV shows and stuff, she loves that persona. She kind of lives in that, where she's like, she understands that she's Gen 2.
Yeah.
But she leans into that whole like being She-Hulk. She enjoys it.
And well, the thing is, and that's one of the most interesting things about the character in the comics that I really liked was where Bruce Banner, the whole when he turns into the Hulk, it's not good for anyone. And like it's a curse. But when she gets the powers, it's the complete opposite. She's in control. She can do it on command. When she gets too angry, like she's totally in control when she turns into She-Hulk. So like that was interesting, that whole dynamic between her and Bruce. But we didn't really get that because Bruce was like already Smart Hulk in the show, so you can't do the whole, well, you're fucking lucky. I kill people that I care about as the Hulk, you get to you're in control the entire time. But originally, like, she was not okay with it. It took her a while to like actually get into being into She-Hulk. And in the show, she was just like, it took her like 2 episodes to just be like, I'm okay with this. I'm fine. I would have liked that to be a theme throughout the season versus just like automatically like she's fine, and then we get this whole like using She-Hulk to get laid or whatever.
And like to this credit, I will say the one part about it too was that like there is that moment, I think it's in episode 7, where she does like where they start, they kind of revenge, blah blah blah, the bad evil incel guys or whatever, and she starts like tearing stuff off the walls and all that, where we do see a little bit of that Hulk rage, but like I wish we would have seen it a bit more. You know what I mean? I wish we would have seen her like realizing, oh yeah, there's actually a downside to this, especially how easy I can transform. Yeah, we got that whole like, oh, I can maintain my anger easily more than you. I think it'd been interesting for her to say that, and then all of a sudden she transformed into She-Hulk. You know what I mean? So it shows that she does not have that kind of control like she thinks she does. Also, and Bruce was not the person to tell that message to. Tell it to some dude.
They were like, exactly. Like and it speaks to the writers. I think we talked about this like a couple weeks ago, but that I think there was one writer on the show who was actually a Marvel fan / She-Hulk fan. Like there was like a total of 10 writers, and none of them knew anything about the character. And so it was ridiculous that you're saying that to Bruce Banner's backstory is literally one of the most fucked up in Marvel. Like, do you know who you're fucking speaking to? And 2, it's just like they were trying to like lecture again, and this is one of their problems, is they were so busy trying to lecture and like troll like the incels, quote unquote, or like the men of like the series, of like just lecture men basically. And you say something like that, like, oh, I control my anger infinitely more than you. Awesome. So you're automatically not interesting. So it would have been more interesting if she wasn't good to control her anger. That, which, okay, hear me out here as a fucking, because I'm throwing out good ideas. Maybe she's not good at controlling her anger, even though she can control herself as She-Hulk. Because she can't control her anger as a person, she has anger issues. That's how that becomes a problem. And she has these outbursts that are dangerous. Like, so like as the Hulk, like Bruce Banner when he turns to the Hulk, he can't control himself. He's automatically angry. He can't control it because it's a whole different like type of persona. He's not in control of himself. But maybe the She-Hulk, when she turns to the Hulk, she's in control of herself, but the character herself has anger issues. That would have been interesting.
Right.
Maybe I'm just, but she only had like one violent outburst in a very warranted violent outburst. Wasn't the guy showing like a video of her having sex to like 200 people? I think anyone would fucking burst out and tear.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And that's the thing. It was about the message and pushing motives instead of making a good character. Now I said, like, there is a conversation to be had about that. Absolutely. But I think that the problem is that it was dropped in the first episode right off the bat. And I think it would have been interesting to me, like you said, is to show that she's actually not that good at controlling her own anger, because when she's also, let's say she's good at her job and all this stuff, so it gives her a sense of arrogance, so that when something happens, you do see her kind of like, you see that kind of like, okay, that's not me. A lot of more deflection, right? Like more deflection, more like she starts getting upset because when things don't go, like she's one of those people that has to have things go kind of in this way. And anything that deviates off of that, she starts to, and like, it's like, okay, oh, hell no. You know what I mean?
Afro. You're thinking of an actual story arc, which is obviously something they were not interested in. Okay. They weren't interested. They were more like what Peach said. They were more interested in lecturing and sending a message than actually telling a story.
Yeah, no, and he's absolutely correct. It just is one of those where it's just unfortunate.
You can do both, though. Like, if you have a message, a political message that you want to say, even if everyone's not going to agree with, you can put it in your show. And you can still have a good show. I don't know if you guys have seen Luke Cage, but he talks about a lot of political stuff in that. But it's not the point of the show. The point of the show is saving Harlem from the mob bosses, from Cottonmouth, from Mariah, from Diamondback. That's the point of the show, and the struggles of him trying to save Harlem. Not the political message or the political beliefs that he has. And the interesting part about that show as well is I don't know if you guys have you seen Luke Cage or like
no, I think it's on is it on Disney Plus now?
It's on Disney Plus now. Yeah, it was originally on Netflix.
I'll probably go check it out.
Yeah, it's good. I'd recommend watching Jessica Jones first because he first appears in that. Just watch all the Netflix Marvel shows; they're good. Look at the timeline. But but there's a character that's in like all the Netflix shows, but she ends up getting with Luke Cage called she's Rosario Dawson. I can't remember her name's Claire.
Okay,
but she's in the show, and like Luke Cage says something along the lines of like saying because he's black, he's like in prison, not in prison, but like he's there's only a few things he could do in America to be successful or whatever. And like Rosario Dawson, as like Hispanic female, she's like that she challenges him, like she disagrees with him. She's like, that's like saying a woman place is only in the kitchen or a whore, like that, you're being arrogant. And so he has his own political views, and you have characters challenging it. So you have this back and forth, and you have an interesting conversation between the characters. Whether which one you agree with isn't the point. That it's the argument between the characters that's interesting. So you have She-Hulk, who has her own views, and nobody challenges her in the show. You have nobody who goes against her views. And you don't have an interesting character. You have a character that's lecturing. So, and Luke Cage never came off as lecturing because you had characters in the show, again, who disagreed with him and his motives. You don't have that in She-Hulk. So like it's just lecturing because, oh, God forbid, as a writer, when you're writing for a show like that and you're more focused on lecturing, you don't want any characters challenging her views because that's not the message you want. No,
it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It does, and that's the thing that's interesting is like, I mean, through most of the animes that you watch have the same things. People just don't even pay attention, and that's the thing is like, when you mentioned like I thought of there was a moment in the Arrow show, right, where they talk about gun control, and they have two people on both opposing sides, and they kind of like agree to disagree, and they, like you said, the point of it isn't to, it is more to show both sides of the argument, you know, because yeah, if you only push one side, it makes you seem that their side is just correct and every other side is wrong. And you know, you could tell a good show in there, and just it bothers me when they just tend to just not. Another one is I actually did not find this show very appealing, and that was the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You know, and one of the biggest problems with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, in my view, is the fact that they tried telling us something that we did not see. So throughout they said through the 5 years, oh, things were good, right? People were getting along, they were flourishing, and blah, blah, blah. We did not see that.
Right.
For all we know, it was terrible. And so when they're like, well, you guys got to be better. Senator, you guys got to be better at the end of the series. And I'm like, yo, you're dealing with like half, what is that? 3.5, let's say about 3.5 billion people gone back out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And now you have to readjust society back again. Like, that is something that is huge. You can't just tell someone like, well, don't fucking do better when they're just like, how am I supposed to tell you to go do better? And like, I get it. It's like, well, this isn't easy.
What you're talking about is exactly the problem, though. They were more focused on going, like, lecturing the real world, like, politicians are bad and they need to do better. But like the line, you need to do better, Senator. How? You're a hero. Give suggestions. Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean do better?
No,
like,
exactly.
you handle it then. Like, it's like,
no, it is.
There was no suggestions. Yeah.
No, you're right. There is none. There's none. It's just like, there's these people. Yes, we get it. There's a chance to rebuild. But at the same time, you just went to a rebuilding year into another rebuilding, but now you have way more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's people just started getting used to the life they had now, and all of a sudden, boom, now all these people are back. And I really wish, this is what kind of worries me about like when these Fantastic Four ones, and like how are you going to do Doom? Because I don't want my biggest fear is that they make Doom some big like incel dude, which he's arrogant, but he's not an incel. Right. You know what I mean? But it seems like sometimes it feels like some of these writers don't know the difference between what makes good and bad. You want to tell a message to a story. That's fine. Most stories have fucking messages. Like the people who say like the good stories don't have messaging are fucking dumb. You just don't realize it because most of the time they're put in for a reason. Like I saw someone say, you can't be for like people being oppressed, right? And at the same time, still go and talk highly about like One Piece, which is literally about like breaking free from those oppressive chains. You know what I mean? But so many people don't realize it because they're so enamored into everything else that they don't realize that what the messaging is actually going through, incredibly subtle. So what they've done is they've overcorrected by just hitting you on the head with it.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't feel natural though. That's the problem. Is you have these stories that may and also the messaging is it's less of like sending a message and more lecturing. So you can tell a story about being aware of injustices and like trying to send a message to everyone, but to like in She-Hulk and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it's do better, straight white man. You're the reason the world sucks. Like it's really
you hear that, Scorp?
It's like.
Yeah. Scorp, you hear that? You gotta do better.
I always
just do better.
That's the most famous line I always hear.
That's the thing that I get. There's definitely issues, and like I said before, there's issues that definitely need to be discussed and all that stuff. Because even in her She-Hulk's section about her ranting and stuff, she's not wrong. It definitely is some serious issues when it comes to that. Like I was like, holy shit, but it's the way the message gets told. You could have done that by showing it. You know what I mean?
Even when they do show it, it feels so unnatural sometimes.
It feels like a Hallmark movie.
Do you remember this?
Like Hallmark movie level acting.
it just comes out of nowhere and it like hits you. And especially in a series like, okay, so I don't know how you feel about this scene, but you brought up Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and they get done talking to I think maybe it was, I can't remember, but they get done talking to, what the fuck
Isaiah
is his
Bradley?
name? God damn it, Isaiah Bradley. Thank you, for fuck's sake. His son's Patriot, which is a pretty fucking cool character. I don't know if you know who Patriot is, but he's the guy with like the cap shield. Yeah, he's a cool character. He's in the show. He's with Isaiah Bradley. He's the grandson, I do believe. And like, anyway, cool character. But immediately after they leave, like, they're in a black neighborhood, and like these two white cops, there's no police car anywhere. These two white cops just walk up to Sam. They're like, "We're gonna need to see some ID." Like, out of like, no questions were asked. Like, we're gonna need to see some ID. Like, if you wanted to do that, I understand, but it didn't feel realistic. Like in the situation, like there was like it came out of, I don't know. And also, don't tell me you don't know who Falcon is. All right, in the Marvel universe, you know these people saved the fucking universe.
You know what's funny is they know who Falcon. They don't know who Falcon is, but you have a dude who was basically a fucking terrorist right next to him, and they were just like, "Oh, you're good." Like, you know, that's why. And this is why I said, this is what worries me about Static Shock, because Static Shock is absolutely amazing character. But his topic are a lot, even as in the old TV show, there were a lot of social issues. It was very social issue heavy. I don't think a lot of people, especially the what I call them, like the wokies one, who are like everything's woke, everything, you know, without actually realizing what it actually is about. Would actually be able to understand. They'd say it's the most woke show in the world, when in reality, I just want to watch your show without having the messaging come through. And I'm like, the messaging comes through all the time. It's just how it's delivered. Static Shocks was a little more. It was, the reason why is because it was a kids show, so it was toned down to a level that kids would understand. But it didn't stop them from talking about heavy subjects like racism. It did talk about subjects like kids bringing a gun to school. I mean, that was one I'm like, some of y'all need to go back and rewatch that, because there's a reason why they talk about bullying and all that stuff, like being bad. And you know, but they also did it in a way that Static was still being a hero, still being conscious of being a hero. You know, and I'm like, yo, they just never bring in. Well, this is also because DC is just allergic to money, but like, I mean, like, it's one of those things where I want to see it. I want to see Static, and I want to hold to what his more comic book era would be like. Because Static is actually incredibly OP. But like,
he is.
And I think he would actually be really, really cool. I just don't think people could handle it without feeling like, oh, it's just this. I'm just attacked. Blah blah blah. I think personally, and this is how I would go with the TV show or with the movie, is I would base it more on the TV show, and the villain would not necessarily be like that white dude with the fire powers or whatever. Nah, I'd be talking about attacking about when it comes to more of that gang culture with Ebon, because if you remember, Ebon was the gang leader. He was the one that kept recruiting the people in, would entice them, and then he would end up messing because he had shadow powers because he was always behind the scenes. I think having him be in there would actually be an absolute fantastic way of bringing in like a true another villain that doesn't feel like they're not one that's held back because of like certain standards like Killmonger, but just a black villain that is just one that would just be no bullshit.
Yeah, I think because of the day and age, if there's any like political messaging, everyone's like it's woke, but like, or like they automatically disregard it as good, if that makes sense. But like, you know, American History X has very similar messaging to a lot of what you would consider woke. Great fucking movie though. Like, I don't see anybody complaining about the quality of the writing of that movie. Mm-hmm. But I think it's important to keep in mind though is if they do Static Shock, I think they need to keep in mind, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but like we live in a different, things are not the same as to when Static Shock first appeared in the comic books and they were talking about all the subjects. If they did it in like modern time and some of the subjects they talk about, some of it would work, but not all of it would work.
No.
So they need to adjust. They can't just do all the problems and like talk about all the messaging that was in the original Static Shock show and in the comics.
Oh, no,
it's not the same. It's not the same. It's different, So they have to adjust to it, right? And also they can't make it, again, like what you said, it's all about implementation and how they tell the messaging. So they can't just, that's the point of Static Shock was not the messaging. The point of Static Shock was the character of Static Shock and his struggles, right?
Mhm.
You can't just have it about like social injustices.
No, you can't.
You can't do that.
And that's why like when I mentioned before, like when I said one of the things that because I've been noticing this where the people talking about more like that gang culture, hood culture, kind of stuff like that, being more called out for how toxic it is. I think having a movie that centers around that kind of culture, right? From a superhero who was if you remember beforehand, he was kind of just caught up in that. You know what I mean? He was a good kid in a bad situation. Now they've changed some of his backstory and stuff like that. But I think you could go in a way that could show, especially, you know, for black boys, that there's a way you can do this without having, you know what I mean? Like showing the ins and outs of that culture. Not saying all of it's bad per se, but showing an enemy that could possibly have that negative tendencies. You know what I mean? And showing that there's a release from there. You know what I mean? Because Static had that white, you know, he had his white friend, you know, and Richie was huge for him. You know what I mean? So he's kind of breaking that stereotype of like, you know, that kind of like black, the white friend, the black dude. You know what I mean? Them being chill. I don't want to see them separate. My only thing was like showing that he had a single father. His mom was gone. You know what I mean? He had a single father, which is something that's a little bit different than what people be used to now. Like, I think it'd be cool. And I remember his father was very stand-up-ish. Reminded me a lot of like I put him in the same realm of like Uncle Phil.
I was literally just thinking.
You know what I mean? In that same kind of messaging. I think that would be it would work really well because it'd show another side. It can show, you know what I mean? This one's more centric towards those the black boys. You know what I mean? Growing up and learning that. And I think even though, you know, that's more of the target demographic, I think it's something that could also resonate for a lot of boys.
Are you saying, okay, so just so I clarify what you're saying, are you saying like you could definitely push a message where it's like, because you have in America, you have this notion that both sides push where it's like you have where they're painted a certain way. Young black Americans are painted a certain way. And Static Shock show could just be breaking that ice. Like, you don't have to be the way society on both sides, like the stereotypes that both sides are giving you. You can break away and be whatever the fuck you want. And you don't need to turn to crime or the streets or vice versa, or like whatever each side is saying the stereotype is.
Because you see it. Yeah, you see it. Yeah. Rubber Band Man. He went from being a villain to Static to he ends up dating his sister after a while. Yeah, he ends up dating his sister after a while. You know, after some mess up after mess up, you come to find out he's actually dyslexic.
Yeah.
So, but then through the help of Static and his sister and stuff like that, he comes to kind of move around from that area. So it's breaking free of those chains. Then you have someone like Ebon, who at this point has just so entrenched himself into this lifestyle that even if he wanted to break out, he just doesn't. You know what I mean? This way's been working for me, and I intend to keep it.
And that's what, and like, that's one of my problems that I had with Falcon and the Winter Soldier was you had, like, what you're pushing is bravery in today's society. Like, you need to break away from the stereotypes. So you had Falcon and Falcon the Winter Soldier, who was given the mantle of Captain America. And you hear him talk about, like, I don't think America's going to accept a black man as Captain America. Instead of challenging himself and facing those fears, you start off with the show of him pussying out. Like, he's supposed to be the hero. Like, what are we doing? What message are you? Like, in the end, he does for separate reasons. But it would have been more interesting for him to take on the mantle reluctantly from the start, and him face those struggles, if that makes sense, that he was scared of, versus just him pussying out and be like, I don't want to do this.
Well, I think, they gave it to they kind of fucked up in that show, I think, by making John Walker an actual good. Like, he's actually a pretty. I say he's a little more. little more realism when it comes to what like the winner, like someone who can't really live up to that title.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. They wanted to make him the next Captain America, and he just couldn't do it. And it's not that he couldn't. I should say it's not that he could. There was just it was going to be an impossible thing no matter what. He's not, because he doesn't come off as a bad guy off the bat. And part of the reason when he goes and he kills that one dude, right? Or he kills the one terrorist guy. And I think that was the one who just killed his friend.
Yeah.
And so
they paint him like a bad guy.
Yeah, they paint him like a bad guy. And I'm like, I'm actually not like, if all of a sudden someone came in and killed Bucky, Steve probably would have done the same thing.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
Like for how much he went for him, if like it would have been lost it. And I'm like, okay, but then at the same time, I'm like, he just lost someone. He lost someone. And this is my thing. He lost someone near and dear to him, and then he acted out in this rage thing. And y'all are painting him as a bad guy. But Tony lost his parents from the Winter Soldier, went after him, and you never painted him as a fucking villain.
Right.
So I was like, the problem is, to me, I'm like, I felt like John Walker is actually a pretty decent character trying to live up to a mantle he'll never be able to live up to, which is interesting because it's very similar to Sam trying to live up to this legacy that he's never going to, but for different reasons. And the reason of John feels a little more so than of Sam. Sam is because of externally, that the world's not going to accept a black Captain America. Maybe make a scene of it where he actually went to go, tried to go save someone, and someone was like, no, fuck you. You know what I mean? I don't think they would, but that would have been the show a little bit of people not necessarily accepting him. Because the only time we have of people not accepting him as Captain America is from Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah.
Until the very end, which I'm not going to lie to you, like listening to the actor who played Isaiah Bradley, like hit me hard when he was sitting there talking about what they did to him. And like, it was just it made me mad because it's like but when he sits there and he holds that shield for the first time and he gets his own statue, I believe.
Yeah. And
I'm just like, fuck yeah. Also, by the way, I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but we're getting another game featuring Black Panther and Captain America from 1943. I don't know if you guys have seen that or not. So it's a trailer. Scorp, look it up. It actually looks really good. The dude who plays, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I feel bad about it. The guy who plays Cyborg from Teen Titans.
Yeah, Carrie Payton.
Yeah, he plays Black Panther.
Yeah, and he's not T'Challa.
It's T'Chaka?
It's T'Chaka, I do believe, during World War II. And you have Captain America. It takes place during World War II.
Yeah, and so I'm excited to see like this back and forth between them. The motion capture looked really good. I'm hoping that the gameplay turns out decent itself. This story sounds fun.
It is, and I'm glad they're leading more into the because after Captain America was brought back in the comics, because you had him originally appear during World War II for World War II propaganda, and then he disappeared for a while in comics for 20 years, and he brought him back. And then after they brought back Captain America, they started doing all these side stories with Captain America during World War II. So you had him he met Thor during World War II. He met Black Panther T'Chaka during World War II. He met all these characters. And I'm glad we're actually getting something like that in a mainstream media it looks good. It looks fun. Like what you said. It looks like I'm mainly looking forward story-wise the back and forth between the two.
When Captain America is trying to tell him to stop, and he's just like the nice way of being like, motherfucker, what'd you just say to me?
Was making fun of his red, white, and blue suit, you fucking pussy ass patriot boy.
Oh yeah, and I'm just like, just go home, boy. And I'm like, yo, I am stoked to see this.
I really like it. I don't know about you, but when characters meet for the first time in series like this, and then each of them is talking to each other like they're superior to them. You have Black Panther talking to Cap "Oh, I could just beat your ass," but they would fuck each other up really good. Depending on who you think would win the fight, it's not going to be an easy fight. Well, and you just have these people talking about in a superior way, and I like that, the arrogance that they have when they first meet, if that makes sense. But, yeah.
Well, when Cap is, I think of when Cap is telling Tony go put on the suit.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go whip your ass right now. Like, I'm like, okay, like, you know what I mean? Like, it makes sense. It makes sense that people like. That's why I love the correlation between Batman and Superman, right? All the time is like neither of them have this. Both of them have this kind of, you know, Superman. I'm kind of the strongest motherfucker around, and Batman's like, yeah, but I can take you down.
Yeah. Well,
like, you know, it's not gonna be easy.
Depends. We can talk about that.
No, I just look at it as one's an alien and the other just, yeah, I'm just straight up gonna kill you, and he does. That's it.
Well,
oh no, Superman. Like, if a Superman, I've always said, because like you hear the people all the time, oh, Batman could just, if you give him prep time, Superman's not giving him that.
Yeah,
Like,
and even with prep time, Batman has admitted on several. Like you see it in Batman Hush, you see it in Death of the Family, you see it in several series. Batman knows Superman can beat him in a fight. I mean, he knows.
So hell, that moment when in what is it, Justice League War, after or Superman's kind of messing around with Green Lantern, and like he goes up and he's like Clark, and Superman just stops. Okay. Although I'm not gonna lie, my favorite reveal moment has to be from if you remember the Batman Superman team up movie back in the 90s, when Superman uses his X-ray vision to find out it's Bruce Wayne underneath. And so Superman goes and he's like calling up Lois and stuff, and like, I don't know, I'm kind of worried about this guy, blah blah blah. And all of a sudden he looks and he notices like a tracker on his cape, and he looks outside the balcony. Batman has the binoculars looking back at him. He's like, I'm like, oh
man,
like, that is something. Yeah, like you didn't even realize. But no, like the one thing that always made me laugh is like when people are like, "Oh, Batman has had prep time." I'm like, I don't think Batman can move at like Mach 7 speed, guys. Like,
yeah, and if you look at like the reason Batman has won before in fights isn't because he beat Superman. It's because Superman's holding back. So Batman relies on the fact that he knows Clark isn't going to kill him, and he isn't going to try to take his head off. So you see it in The Dark Knight Returns, right? Where Batman beats Superman, not because Superman didn't want to hurt him, and Batman used that as a weakness to beat Superman.
Oh, doesn't he just rips the armor off anyways? Like as soon as
he does.
Like so
exactly. He wins with help with Green Arrow. Like that's the only reason he was able to take him down. Don't be too hyped. It was just TGI, but I can't. Wait, what is he talking about?
I was talking about the game that you were talking about where Tachanka and
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I didn't hit that one fast enough. Yeah, it is motion capture. It does look
like it looks like Carrie Payton.
And that's my thing. I agree with Mr. Peach here. I don't try to get hyped up over like CGI story-based trailers until I try to get more hyped up over gameplay ones. Or actual like gameplay for like a full gameplay trailer. That's where I get really hyped. But I couldn't help myself. Like
as a concept, I'm hyped.
Oh yeah, like, and that's where like, I'm excited for that. Like I think that everyone talks about we need a Superman or not Superman. We need an Iron Man video game, and I'm like, it was called Anthem. And
yeah, nobody played Anthem.
It. And I was like, and this is probably my hot take. Anthem is actually pretty fun. Like Anthem's actually a pretty fun game. It just be due to a lot of the monetization and like unbalanced leveling and all the other kind of like it felt like a really rushed development. We never got this solid game that we were promised, and it sucks because even playing it now and it's like bare bones offline mode, it's still pretty fun. Like jumping into a suit, flying around, shooting people with my Beyblade gun. It's like if that would have had a multiplayer, oh fuck. Imagine like 5-on-5 mission.
Yeah.
Like I don't know about you, but I would have played the fuck out of it.
Do you think Captain America,
I think originally it was supposed to go down the road.
Yeah, I just didn't do well.
No.
Do you think the Captain America and Black Panther game will have like a multiplayer duo option?
Yeah.
I hope so. And I hope it's implemented good.
I kind of hope, like I say, I hope so, but I could easily see why it wouldn't at the same time. only a 2-player thing because it looks like there's like multiple players you're playing as. So you have Cap, you have T'Chaka, but it looked like is that a Okoye with him then too?
Yeah, I don't think she's. Yeah, I don't think she'll be playable though. I think she'll just be.
I wonder if they will, but like, and then there's another dude who's with not Bucky, but he's with Cap. So it showed those because they showed those 4 heroes. So overall, I think it's gonna be good.
I hope so. I'm mainly looking forward to the gameplay, and I hope it's not like the over the shoulder like camera view that they did in the Avengers game. Like I want to see the entire character like in action. What is your opinion on Wonder Woman game with the return of the Nemesis system from the games? Is there a Wonder Woman game?
Yes, there is. And okay, so I'm Mr. Peach. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm actually heavily excited. I know there's been a lot of issues with the game from Monolith right now, which kind of makes me a little more cautious. But I will say, I'm actually really stoked. Like, I think that a Wonder Woman game is overdue. The Nemesis system coming back is absolutely perfect for that. Especially for, imagine some of your supervillains, your Ares, your Cheetah, maybe a Cersei, Giganta, like all of them have like a level up system, maybe if when you lose to them. I think I think it would be
I'm pretty sure that's a Marvel villain. I'm pretty sure that's a She-Hulk villain.
Gigantic. No, you're thinking of Titan.
Okay, you fuck me. Never mind. Never mind. You're right.
But
I tried doing it actually, but they didn't do it actually.
You need the glasses. But like, I think it's going to be this. The thing is, I think it's going to be good. I will say, but this has to me a huge riding on it because this could be a full franchise. And DC's track with their superhero games is basically Injustice 2 and Injustice 1. So I would love to see an adventure style Wonder Woman 1 set. Hopefully it's just set on Themyscira. I don't need it to be set over in Man's World. Just put it in Themyscira. Keep it in Themyscira. I'm happy with that. But that's just my thoughts.
I didn't even hear about the Wonder Woman game.
I've been keeping up with it. I'm stoked. I think it's gonna be cool.
Is it Arkhamverse or is it?
No, I think it's made with the Nemesis system for the Middle Earth games, but I don't know if it's gonna be like one of those third person over the shoulder. I personally kind of hope it's not because I'm kind of sick of those. Like when I saw the leak thing for Wolverine, everyone's like, "Oh my god, it looks so cool!" I'm like, "Yeah, but we have that third person over the shoulder, but he's kind of running like he's had this weird hunch thing." I'm not a fan of that. Like to me personally, if you ever played X-Men Origins Wolverine, that's what a Wolverine should be.
Yeah,
and that's where
great game based off a terrible movie.
And what's funny? I kind of want the Wonder Woman to be like that too. I want it to be more of a hard hitting, like Wonder Woman's not holding back kind of thing. Like,
yeah, And this could be a good ground tester because you have somebody who's as powerful as like Wonder Woman's like super powerful, and she can fly and all that, and like you have like these OP powers. This could be like a good testing ground. For, Superman game. But I mean, there's never been a good Superman game, so we'll see. But
before you go on that, there is a little test game on the PS5. It's free. It was only made by like 3 people. But it's called Undefeated.
Is it a Superman game? Or is it?
It's like not Superman, but kind of Superman. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Like it's got this dude. It's really, really small. It's like what you expect kind of a 360 game would be. It's more of a tech demo than an actual game. But pick it up. It's free on the PlayStation Store. It is kind of fun. And there is another one coming in 2026 that seems to be more like a full-fledged game. It looks cool. You can actually, you can fly. Like, you have your flight abilities. You'll take off, float, and then boom, you'll just fly through the air. His punches, you can punch little enemies and stuff now and then, and just boom, 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 boom. Like, it's super quick. It's not much, but it's for what I can see the potential in it.
Yeah. But I think the hardest thing is if you do Superman in any setting, the flight I feel like is always going to be the hardest thing, especially if it's like an open world type game like Arkham Asylum, not Arkham Knight or whatever in Arkham City, or like Spider-Man is as Superman. If you're flying, you run into a building. I don't know how you're gonna do that without like killing a bunch of people, if that makes sense.
Oh well,
because like you have
exactly.
You have this flight pattern where it's like so like the Spider-Man, like if he runs to a building, like he sticks to it. Or Batman, like he'll like can't like go through a building. But like Superman, if you're going full speed and as a player you run into a building, you should go through it. But you would kill a bunch of people. Then you could do like an evil Superman game and make that make sense. But then you're doing the evil Superman trope again, and nobody wants to fucking see that.
No, we've already got that like how many times. I think would be really interesting is if you're gonna do a Superman one, set it on a different planet.
You could, yeah, that's a good idea.
Put it on a different planet, maybe like War World or something like that. Send it somewhere else, because one, you don't have to worry about like, oh, you have to worry about him, not, I don't know, like hurting civilians and all that other kind of stuff.
People,
yeah. But you put it on like War World or something where he's now fighting people around his level. So like characters like Mongol and stuff like that. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Well, and you could do Doomsday on War World.
Yeah, you could do Doomsday.
Because I'd like to have you could do a fucking boss fight in a Superman game with Doomsday sounds fun. And I hope it's brutal as fuck too. Just to get a brutal Doomsday boss fight, that'd be cool with Superman.
They also, I feel like I need one more Arkham. Like I know Rocksteady failed with the other games, and I'm not talking about Arkham Shadow. I'm not talking about the VR game. I'm talking about.
We're getting a new one.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about actual Arkham.
Batman.
No, fuck that. Like the more I think thinking about like this Arkham Shadow, I'm just like, no, I don't want this. I want an Arkham game.
Well, you can't get an Arkham game. Are you saying it like takes place after Arkham Knight? Or...
Yeah, give me one with someone else.
Well,
or
he's dead.
Or Catman. Well, he's not okay. So he's not dead.
Yeah, he died and killed the Justice League.
Oh,
that takes place in the Arkhamverse. They killed Arkham Batman.
Right. Oh,
sorry, I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, I forgot.
Remember that amazing game? You know the fucking crazy thing about that is if they did not need to have it take place in the Arkham universe, but they did, and then that's Arkham Batman. They even reference events from the Arkham game, and you killed off Arkham Batman.
You know what they were gonna? I don't know if you.
They were like, "Why is everyone upset? We understand." Like, because you killed Arkham Batman.
A Red Hood Arkham game. You hunt down the squad.
You guess what? Red Hood's dead too. Batman kills him and killed the Justice League. So, sorry, don't know what to tell you. Don't know what to tell you, man.
No.
He kills the Bat family and killed the Justice League. Don't you remember from that amazing game? So I remember when they
but they're all it's from a different universe.
But that's what I heard too, is that they were going to do that. They're like, they're actually all from different universe, and the real versions are somewhere else. And I'm like, that's cope. That is what we call that's what we call coping.
Or, hear me out. Just say it's not in the Arkham universe. It's an easy fix. Just retcon it.
Just
I don't know.
Like it. Just fuck. It just makes me sad.
It's
maybe they'll give me one where I can use Arkham Batman, and like, it's gonna sound really dumb, but I need Batman in my next NBA Street game. NBA Street Volume Bats.
That'd be pretty cool. I'd get behind that.
He killed Robin, but nothing about the others confirmed.
When he killed Robin, yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a reference to him killing Red Hood. I think he kills Red Hood. I think he kills Robin. He kills a couple other people. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure there's a reference to him killing Jason, our boy Jason too. You know what's so crazy about that game though is it retcon. I don't know. I don't consider it canon regardless. I'm more so joking. I don't see how it can be canon because it does so many retcons.
Okay, so it was actually just him.
It was just him?
Just him.
Okay. Well then,
so
fuck me either way.
Yeah, I want my red hood kills the Suicide Squad.
Okay, well, if Batman can't fucking take on the Suicide Squad, when he's Red Hood can though. You know what I mean? That's the other thing, bro. So there's a Arkham movie. There's a Batman Assault on Arkham, which takes place in the Arkhamverse. And you had Harley Quinn, you had Deadshot, you had Killer Croc, or not Killer Croc, you had fucking Captain Boomerang on the team. You had the entire team that you see in Kill the Justice League in that movie, and it's canon to the Arkham games. And Batman takes them all out easily. And then in Kill the Justice League, he's not able to take them out.
Right.
That doesn't make sense. And then King Shark is in. So this is why it doesn't make sense canon-wise, because it retcons several things. And then you have King Shark in the Arkham game, or the Batman Assault on Arkham, which is still considered canon. King Shark dies in that movie, but he's somehow okay in Kill the Justice League. And then this doesn't make any sense, and they don't even acknowledge this. And this is in the Arkham games as well. Deathshot's a white guy in the games, in the Arkham games. He's a white guy. Like I think it was in Arkham Origins. He's a white guy.
Arkham City, Deadshot is in Arkham City. Oh, we don't really see his face in Arkham City. I don't think we see him at all. He's completely covered. But Arkham City, he is white. And then they were like, no, he's just a different universe version. And I'm like, no. Batman literally treated Harley like a joke in the other games. She never had a boss fight. Well, which is surprising because Harley actually captures Batman in the DLC.
She does, yeah. Yeah, but like I forget which game it was, but there was a boss fight where like Harley Quinn's like doing these gymnastics like towards Batman, and you take her out with one hit, which is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and that's the thing that always kind of like that's why I liked in the Batman and Harley Quinn movie where she was actually able to outsmart Nightwing, by using like one of Joker's items, and she's like, shit. I mean, still got it. Bang. Yeah, I was like, okay, well, I can respect that from her. I'm not a huge fan of Harley, never have been, but I can respect it.
I think she's a pretty fucking overrated character. I do not understand.
Oh, I think she's absolutely overrated.
She's cool, she's interesting, but I don't think she warrants being in several games, being a main character of her own series. Harley Quinn having her own comic book series.
It's kind of like at this point, what I feel with her is kind of how I felt with Joker, where I was like, yeah, I get it. He's a good character. Everyone loves him. Blah blah blah. Not gonna lie to y'all. Kind of don't want to see him anymore.
Joker?
Yeah, I'm kind of done with him. Show someone else. Batman has a fucking stellar rogues gallery.
Plethora.
Like you have so many of them, and you just keep throwing in the same like 2-3 villains. It's like,
yeah.
I mean, yes, I get it in this new movie, the 2022 movie, and in the Penguin TV show. I still gotta see that. I love Colin Farrell as Penguin. That's fine. You can keep some of them. I'm glad that Joker wasn't really in the 2022 movie, so it could focus more on the Riddler. But like the next one, I want to see if you're gonna give me a supervillain, I want to see a villain that we haven't really seen before. I want Clayface.
I hope they do Clayface.
I think Clayface you can dabble a lot more. It kind of like with Scarecrow, but more so with Clayface, you can dabble into a bit of the more of the horror aspect of a villain that you don't really, he's constantly shape-shifting. He's, like he's a monster. Like Batman coming up against an actual, like someone that he's like, okay, I can beat the shit out of this dude. You know what I mean? Now he punches a dude. Yeah. He goes to punch the guy, and all of a sudden you just see the clay just start molding over his hand. It's like, whoa, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
And we're gonna have 2 on-screen versions of Batman for a while because you have the Robert Pattinson that's getting a sequel. And I think, who directs those?
Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves? Thank you. Yeah, he said he wants to do a trilogy, but James Gunn is also doing a Batman movie, which is probably also going to get a trilogy.
Yeah, the Brave and the
so
Bold.
we have possibilities. Yeah, it's Brave and the Bold, and it's going to be an older Batman. Like he already confirmed, Damian Wayne's going to be in it. So we're going to get 2 different Batman movies like every other year in 2 different universes. We have the potential to get Batman villains we've never seen before, and I think James Gunn, he likes to do characters a lot of people haven't heard of. What do you want? What's up? He likes to do characters that people haven't really heard of, or like more absurd characters. So like Clayface, I mean, as we know him, but like most people think of Riddler or Joker or Catwoman. Nobody really thinks of Clayface, like the average.
Well, what about the ventriloquist?
And he's weird.
Oh, the ventriloquist and Scarface would be in it. It could be a fun side one.
Sure.
Ventriloquist, Prometheus.
Like bring back the originals. Like have one word like the originals come back.
Yeah, well, knowing James Gunn, he's probably going to make Condiment Man a fucking
Condiment Man, dude, hell yeah! If Polka Dot Man could come out as like pretty hilarious,
yeah, probably like a side.
Batman does have a few really dumb ones, but all right. Well, we're gonna before we wrap this one up here, I want to you want to insert your plug, let everyone know where they can find you.
I will. It's see my name right here. Search it up on YouTube, and I'm there. All right. I post pop culture videos and commentary videos, and I live stream every once in a while.
Hush is a villain.
Hush is a villain.
A side villain.
They're setting him up for the new Matt Reeves Batman. They set him up in the end credit scene.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, well, they can. Sorry, one more thing on Hush. I'm sorry, I gotta talk about Hush.
You're good.
So you have, in order to do Hush, you have to have an established Batman. Okay, you have to have because in the Hush storyline, you got several villains coming together for this whole fucking the character of Hush, like fucking with Batman. You had Clayface, you had Riddler, you had Ra's al Ghul. You had all these characters coming in and fucking with Batman. Okay, and you have to have the history. Yeah, and one of the things that relied on that, one of the story elements of that comic was Jason Todd being dead. Like they fuck with Jason Todd's body in that fucking comic as well. So you have to have an established Batman. If we're gonna get Hush, it's probably gonna be in the James Gunn version of Batman. Anyway, Andrew Dominic, go look me up. Fucking YouTube. All right, that's the thing on social media. I live stream and I talk about comics, movies, and TV shows. And I cuss a lot and talk about comics. That's the shtick of my channel. All right, there, I plugged.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you being on, my dude. I really do.
Yeah, I'd love to come on again. This was fun.
Oh yeah, definitely we will. I got that one big one coming up in a couple weeks. I'll let you know about that more. But
yeah, sounds good.
Alrighty, everyone. I appreciate you all for being here. As always, I'm Taylor from Afro OG, and I'll catch you all in the next one.